Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is a sound off of the Real Housewives of Potomac, episode 14. So the salad fight continues and everyone is rushing into Mia's defense. And it's just like, I don't really care. Like, at this point, Candice don't care. And somebody, I think it's Ashley, is telling Mia, go tell her about your mom. Go tell her about your mom's story. So Mia barges in and let me tell you about my mom. And Candice is just like, sis, I don't care. Like, I don't care no more. I don't care. You don't care about my situation. You don't care about my feelings. And I don't care about yours. And that's how I feel. As far as the mama talk, look. Don't talk about mama. Don't play with my mama. Don't involve my mama in your shady and foolish antics. If we're not talking about mamas, let's leave mamas out of the entire thing. Miss Dorothy was running her mouth. Miss Dorothy said enough. There was no need for Mia to ask follow-up questions about Chris and his finances and whether or not he's being paid or whatever else. You crossed the line when you did that, Mia. So if Candice says your mother's a broke bitch, then your mother is a broke bitch. If you don't want nobody to play with your mom, then don't play with no one else's mom. That's how I see it. So all the ladies are consoling Mia and like, oh girl, don't let this run you out of here. And you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sorry, Wendy, you look so phony sitting up there talking to her, but whatever. Karen, she's giving her Mother Goose, you know, pep talks like she do. That's understandable because they're cool. So Mia goes so far to say that if her mother relapses, then Candice better catch her outside. She didn't even say it right, but okay, girl. If your mother is that vulnerable, you should not have brought her on Real Housewives of anything. You shouldn't have brought her on TV. You definitely shouldn't have brought her on reality TV. You should have left her at home. You should have protected her. Candice calling her a broke bitch. Candice, she doesn't know Candice. So Candice calling her a broke bitch or low budget, it's not going to send her back into the throes of addiction. If she is that vulnerable and that fragile, why the hell did you take her to a bar and ask her about her triggers? Yeah, you're full of it. You're full of it, and girl, bye. Meanwhile, Candice and Chris are outside talking, and Chris is like, you know, Candice, you need to be the bigger person. And I hear everything Chris is saying. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to be the bigger person. But I don't be wanting to be the bigger person. I want to go 8-ship. I want to empty the clip. I don't want to be the bigger person. Why? What has being the bigger person ever gotten anybody? What has it ever gotten Candice? Candice was on a full-on apology tour all season 5. And she got her head slammed on the table. What has being the bigger person ever got her? She walked away from altercation after altercation after argument. Why does Candice have to be the bigger person? Karen can talk about hot boxes. Karen can yell in the lobby. Giselle can stir up trouble all over the place. Everyone has the freedom to be themselves. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. They get to be themselves authentically, and there are no consequences. But Candice has to walk a fine line or off with her head. So I don't blame Candice. Candice is just like, you know what, whatever. Y'all are going to talk about me if I'm good, if I'm bad, whatever. Let's do this. And I'm with Candice on it. I do see where, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not unreasonable. I definitely see where Chris is coming from, right? Because Chris, at the end of the day, this is her husband. He sees all the bullshit that Candice goes through. He sees everything. He sees everything. I understand you don't want your wife to be the punching bag anymore. I understand you're tired of your wife getting talked about, threatened, all the nonsense. I get it. But I'm here to tell you that there's nothing that Candice can do to change this reality. Not on this show. They will always frame her as the villain. No matter how many apologies Candice gives, no matter how humble she gets, nothing that Candice does is going to be good enough they're always going to treat her differently than they treat everyone else, unfortunately. And I understand like what it means to be fed up and just say, you know what, whatever, let's do this. I get it. So what Scholar says to Mia is like, do you realize that you hurt Candace's feelings when you said her music video was low budget? And she tries to give this bullshit excuse like, oh, well, you know, it was low budget. Even when I was starting my business, it was low budget. And it's like, Mia, this is why I can't take you seriously. When you refer to her music video as low budget, you weren't talking about her budget. You guys weren't crunching numbers. You weren't having a sit down. She didn't hire you as a consultant, as anything. You had nothing to do with whether or not it's low budget. You were insulting her because she called you out and you felt embarrassed and you felt out of place, and you did what you always do when you feel out of place and you feel embarrassed and you feel small. You want to make others feel small by throwing out the fact that you have more money than them. That's what you did. Just own it. Just say, look, when y'all come for me, I'm always tell y'all I got money. Just tell us that's what your personality is, because we see. A scholar asks Mia, why does she constantly bring up money? Is it because she grew up without money? And she's like, no, it's because I worked so hard for it. So this is like I said again. Mia walks around with this put on persona. She wants to be the Grand Dame 2.0. And Mia, that's not you. Mia, that's not your personality. That's just not who you are. That's not you, Mia. The reason you always bring up money is because whoever coached you to be on this show told you, remind those hoes you have more money than them. That's why you always bringing up money. Because who cares? None of them are going to you for a loan. None of them are asking for change under the highway. Like all those women, none of those women were homeless before Real Housewives of Potomac aired. So your money, what does that do for them? Ain't nobody there impressed by your money. So Gordon's drunk behind is in the hallway with Mia, Karen, and Ashley. And he starts flicking his tongue at Karen. And Karen's like, don't make me have to tell Ray. And he does it again. And Karen is just like, Karen is playing it cool, but this is why I know Karen is fake. Because we remember you season 1, you didn't even want to stay on the trip when you found out Michael Darby was going to be staying in the house. And now you're okay with Mr. Drunk Gordon flicking his tongue at you, Karen. So back in the kitchen, Chris is sweeping up the mess that Mia and Candice both made. And Chris is better than me because I wouldn't have picked up one leaf. You two grown women who was throwing lettuce, y'all come pick it up. So while Chris is sweeping up the lettuce, Ashley walks into the kitchen. And Chris, the nice man that he is, he starts to like, oh, you know, hi, Ashley. And Ashley is giving him a very cold reception. And he's like, you know, congratulations on the baby. You know, motherhood looks good on you. You know, I never unfollowed you from social media. Congratulations, all that. And Ashley was like, he says, motherhood looks good on you. And Ashley's like, well, your wife did call me wide. Well, your husband did call her a criminal. Chris, this is where I have to get on you because I understand that you are a nice person and you're really looking out for Candice. And these olive branches that you are extending is so that your wife can have an easier time on this show. It's not lost on me. However, Ashley don't like you. Ashley don't like your wife. And she never saw it for you, Chris. She never did. So you're apologizing to Ashley. It's a lost cause because she'll fool with y'all. So back upstairs, Karen is telling Wendy and Askala, like, look, all this salad tossing, I could have stayed at home and tossed my own salad. And they're like, Karen, you know what that means, right? And Karen don't know what that means. And so Wendy was like, you know. And so she was like, let me get up out of here. So real life story, long time ago, me and my mom were watching Jersey Shore. And there was a situation where that happened with Dina, right? And my mom was like, what? That's not a thing. And I'm like, Mommy, that's a thing. And she was like, no, that's not. And I'm like, yeah, it's called tossing the salad. And she was just like, she was so disgusted. But she started, like, when I told you for the rest of the year, everywhere we went, she would be like, oh my God, Have y'all heard about salad dressing? And she'd be like, B, come tell these people what salad dressing is. And I'll be like, lady, stop telling people this. Stop putting me on the spot like I'm the salad tossing connoisseur. I'm not that. That ain't me. So the green-eyed bandits arrive. And of course, they're the last ones there. So they get whatever room is left. And you know they're not going to be happy with their rooms. They run into Chris. Chris helps them with their bags. Robin runs into Candice in the hallway. And they all excited to see each other. Giselle, she's screaming from the room, Candice, come here. Now, Ashley done already called Giselle and done told her version of what went down with Mia and Candice. So you know they already ready to jump on Candice. So Candice is explaining her side of the story. And she was like, Chris told me to be the bigger person. He didn't let me have it. And I did find out about Mia's mom now. And I do feel a little bad about it because I didn't know. And they're talking about whether or not in the groups do they go after each other's moms. They do. From the moment Candice came on the show, she has made it no secret that she and her mother have issues in their relationship and that they're working on it. And all of the ladies constantly poke fun at whatever Candice has going on with her mom. And we can clearly see that there is some trauma. There is something there. And everyone thinks it's funny, right? Ashley was poking at Candice's mom back in season 4. Way before Candice ever mentioned anything about her drinking or her wanting to conceive. When they went to New Orleans, she poked at Candice's relationship with her mother twice. No one clocked it. No one said a damn thing about Ashley and them doing that. To me, because we know the relationship that Candice has with her mom, poking at it, mentioning it, doing anything messy as it relates to Candice and her mom, to me, that is just as bad, if not worse, than saying your mama's a broke bitch. I think it's worse. Because Candice has no idea. She doesn't know what that lady has in her bank account. She don't know what if Mia provides for her or not. So her calling that woman a broke bitch or low budget, what does it even matter? Because Candice doesn't know. Candice has no clue what that woman has or doesn't have. But you guys all know that Candice has a weird, a rocky relationship with her mother. So for you guys to constantly poke at it, to me, that's way worse than a yo mama joke. Let's start from the beginning, right? Not from the middle. Let's start from the beginning. Y'all been coming for Candice and her relationship with her mom and her man. Y'all all sit up here and be like, Giselle ain't got no man. Giselle ain't got no man. Well, Candice got a man, and why y'all always coming for him? I just like to know. But she can't say, yo mama's a broke bitch. Yo mama is a broke bitch. Cry about it later in your room. That's what I would have said too. So Wendy comes to greet the green-eyed bandits, and they're like, where's our restroom? And Wendy's kind of like, shit, I don't know. There's some restrooms downstairs. You can pick one. Do what you got to do. And it's really funny that Giselle, you didn't want her to use your restroom, and now you won't got no restroom. It's what you deserve. Like, it really is. I feel bad for Robin, though, because Robin, I felt your pain this episode because, girl, I was going through it too. So I'm here with Robin. Me and Robin, we see each other because, baby, I don't be wanting to be around nobody. I don't want to share my restroom. I don't want you to look at me. I don't want you to talk to me. Robin, you and I were here. I felt sure. Robin deserved a restroom because Robin was not trying to do Wendy and Karen the way Giselle was trying to do y'all. Giselle not having a bathroom and her broke foot, I don't really care too much about. So everybody's headed to dinner. They're on a bus. In production, you guys are not low. They got Eddie sitting in between Robin and Wendy, and then they got Mia and Candice sitting right next to each other. And my girl Candice, she's not even tripping. She done already got out her system what she had to say to Mia, and she good. So they get to dinner, they're at the restaurant, and there's this group of white men that are just staring them down. Clearly they see the cameras, they want to be in on the action. And here come Ashley talking about some Giselle, girl, him right there, he looking at you. Now she know good and well that is not Giselle's taste. Giselle's not looking for them dudes. Now they do look like that's where the money reside, but clearly they was not available. They sent over some drinks to all the ladies at the table. And then their wives turned around and was like, y'all ain't gonna send us no drinks? And that was just real awkward and bizarre because it was just like, really? Your wives are on the other side. Y'all didn't send them drinks, but you send these people drinks. Y'all wanted attention. Whatever. Karen is a mess. Karen goes over to them and was like, you know, I'm celebrating my 25th anniversary to Ray. They don't know who Ray is, girl. They don't know Ray. But she gonna make sure she reminds the people that she's getting remarried to Ray, 25 years. And it's like, okay, Karen, girl, we got it. So everyone's having a good time. And Ashley decides to address Chris because she's sitting right across from him. And she was like, so what do you think about Candice's behavior towards Mia today? How did you feel about that? And Chris is like, well, you know, I'll let her know. I'm not here for that. And then Giselle chimes in and she's like, yeah, she told us you cursed her out. And he was like, yeah, you know, I'm not really with that. I don't subscribe to that type of behavior. I want to be cool. Me and G are cool. I wish that me and Michael one day could be cool and blah, 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 blah. And this is where Ashley, you give her an inch and she's going to take a mile with her dusty ass. And she jumps up and she's like, well, Michael just had issues with you the same way that you had things to say about him, and the way Candice has had things to say about him. And it's like Ashley reached back into 2017 to talk about how Candice made a comment on Twitter. And bravo, y'all dusty too, because y'all love to show what Candice said to Ashley, but y'all never show what Ashley said to Candice. But anyways, it don't even really matter. Ashley brings that shit up. And of course, she is baiting Candice. She is baiting Candice. And it's like, let's start here. Let's not start in the middle. Let's start in the beginning. Shout out to Kimmy Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Ashley, if you're going to talk about the overseer comment, let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the house daughter comment. Back in the season 3 reunion, you and Candice really didn't have any beef. You got down to that reunion and you wanted to show your behind, and you called Candice a house daughter. You know, when you open your mouth and you say something, words are open to interpretation. So however Candice received it, that's how she received it. And her retort was her retort. You called her a house daughter. Let's start there. You started with the name calling. You started trying to belittle her. You started trying to belittle her husband and talk about what his percentage is in the restaurant or what it is not. You started with them. So if she want to come for you every single season, I have no problems with that. Because it's really what you deserve. Ashley keeps going and keeps coming at her. No one is saying, Ashley, stop provoking Candice. No one is saying, Ashley, let's give it a rest. We've had enough this day. You did this to Mia and you did this last year and we had to go through all of this last year. And I just want to point out that Candice is calm during this exchange. Ashley is the one jumping up, doing all of this and doing all of this and talking and acting crazy. And Candice is just kind of like, She's in the pocket with her. She's exchanging bar for bar, but she's in the pocket. She's not hyped. She's not really upset. Of course, until Ashley starts mentioning last year. When she mentions last year, you already know that is a trigger for her. And then Giselle's chiming in. Ashley's coming at her. Chris is telling her to calm down. And of course, boom, there's an explosion. Nobody's saying, Ashley, you're provoking. Ashley, stop doing all of this. Ashley, you're behaving in an aggressive manner. No one is saying any of the stuff that they say to the brown girls. Everybody's sitting there and they're watching the show. And Chris, this is where I have to light your ass the fuck up. I love Chris. I love Candice. I love them. I really, really do. But Chris, I know that you're coming from a space of you want to protect and shield your wife and you love your wife and you're tired of seeing her go through certain things. Totally get it. But every time you talk to her as if you are on the other person's side or as if you are against her or you know what I mean? Like it really gives them leverage to keep calling her a child. It gives the ops leverage to disrespect and undermine her. Candice was not loud. Candice wasn't hopping in her seat. Candice was matching her energy. Candice really wasn't even matching her energy. Candice was responding until obviously she touched that button she had no business touching and Candice got upset. But Candice didn't throw nothing. Candice was chilling, trying to enjoy her appetizer or what have you. When you grabbed her and was like, let's go, she didn't do anything wrong. She hadn't done anything wrong. And I'm so glad that Candice stood her ground and was like, I'm not going anywhere. And people obviously are online talking about she disrespected you and she embarrassed you and you tired of her. And I really like you, Chris, but I really am big mad at you because you put her in this position for a fourth time? You did this to her at your home with the butter knife situation. You did this to her at Wendy's Sip and See. You did this to her. You've done this too many times. And every time you do it, it's like, even her husband don't like her. Even her husband gets tired of her. And it's like, why do you keep doing that to her? You ain't Mama Dorothy, but that was some Mama Dorothy shit right there. It really was. Candice doesn't need to be controlled or managed or you grabbing her or manhandling her. Because I don't believe for a second that it's you being angry with her. It's literally you trying to shield her, but that's not what's happening. You're making her look like she can't control herself, and she can. And Ashley knew that's exactly what would happen, and that's why she did that shit. See, you thought, oh, I'm gonna go play nice with Ashley, and I'm gonna make everything better. You did an Andy Cohen. When Andy told Candice, oh, if you stay off Twitter, your life will be much better. Like, you can't tell a black woman how her life is going to be, Andy. You don't know. You zip it. You really did it, Andy Cohen, Chris. You really did. Because I don't care how nice you guys are to Ashley. Ashley will always hate y'all. She will play nice when it's convenient for her, but she will always hate you. She will always hate Candice. The moment that you step foot on that show, Ashley didn't see it for y'all. Definitely didn't see it for you, Chris. And then when Michael Darby got accused of sexual assault and you were one of the witnesses, Chris, she ain't never gonna see it for you and Candice. I don't care what, because the way that Ashley views you guys is y'all almost messed up her bag. If those charges would have stuck and he would have had to go to court and it would have messed up his business, y'all would have messed up her money. Y'all was gonna send her back to the poorhouse and she will never forgive y'all for that. There's no amount of apologies. There's no truces that can be done. She will always hate y'all. She a Gemini like me. She ain't never gonna like y'all. Chris, you took a big L on last night's episode. You absolutely did. I love Chris. I love you, Candice. But Chris, you were dead ass wrong. You need to not do that no more. You don't see any of the other husbands doing that to their wives. None of the other wives are considered children or talked about or talked down to the way Candice is. And you just help perpetuate that. Like her husband had to step in. Candice wasn't even getting upset. I mean, she was upset, but she wasn't jumping under her chair. She wasn't doing any of the stuff Ashley was doing. You really made her look bad. And it's like, I know you was dead ass wrong for that shit. You know you was wrong, Chris. Candice should have the same freedom as everyone else to express her anger how she sees fit. And you really trying to stifle her, put her back in her place, contain her. When in the history is someone upset and you grab them, when has that ever calmed anyone down? Because I know me, when I'm upset and you grab me, it's a problem. Because now I feel anxiety. I feel like paranoid. Don't grab me. If you see me arguing, don't touch me. I don't care who you are. Do not touch me. So yeah, what you did to Candice, that was really unfair. And I know you're just trying to protect her, but you got to figure something else out, because that was not it. No. And then Giselle gonna hop her broke foot into the conversation. Giselle, this wasn't about you. Giselle, you feeling guilty because you know you and Football Head started all that mess at the beginning of the season with Sharice and that other crazy, the bird lady. You know what you did to contribute to that mess, so you're feeling guilty. But at the end of the day, I was very pissed off about last night's episode, because Ashley, you lied so much. No one clocked you for your lies. No one called you out for provoking. Nobody called you out for none of your shit. And Chris, you really thought you did something good trying to be nice to her in that kitchen, and that bitch was like, oh, I'm gonna turn this around on your wife. Yeah, Chris, no. You took a big L and you had to walk out, and that's what you deserve, to walk out there and Drago collect you, because you did our girl wrong. You did Candice wrong. You really can't be doing that to her. And I know that's not your intention, but that is how it's coming across on television. It's making her look crazy. I've never seen a person in the history of the world be told to calm down when they're upset, and they actually calm down. Where they do that at? Which I did not like that. I don't care what nobody said. How Ashley turned to Chris and was like talking to Chris as if they were in a parent-teacher conference, as if Chris is Candace's parent. That shit had me so fucking pissed. Like, who the hell do you think you are? How disrespectful was that? And then Candice is supposed to just sit there and just tolerate it. Y'all have such a hard on with y'all want to humble black women so bad. Y'all do. Y'all want to humble them so bad. Oh, Candice didn't learn nothing from last year. She didn't learn her. What lesson was she supposed to learn? Is she supposed to walk around here walking on eggshells, scared of her own shadow because Monique assaulted her? Because Monique attacked her? No. No, she's not supposed to do that. She's not going to do that. She didn't learn her lesson. What lesson was she supposed to learn? Monique went out sad. That's what the lesson was. Keep your hands to yourself. That's the lesson that Monique should have learned. I bet you she ain't gonna come back on the show and put her hands on Candice again. Talking about some, oh, where is Monique? Monique need to come back. What happened with Candice and Mia? Candice didn't do a third of that to Monique. Monique put her hands on Candice because she was trying to impress these other bitches, because they've never been impressed with nothing that Monique has brought to that show. She was trying to impress them, and she went out sad, and she went out with a busted lip. I'm really fed up with this show. The colorism is blatant. It's there. It's right in front of us. We're calling a thing a thing. It's a thing. It just is. Ashley can sit there and berate Candice, and Candice isn't supposed to react or say anything about it. She's supposed to be on her best behavior while she's being disrespected to her face and belittled and undermined. She's just supposed to sit there and take it. People are like, oh, well, you don't have to reply. Why not? If Giselle opened her mouth and said one word to Karen, Karen was going to light her up and tell her about her stanky hot box. Or anybody would have said anything to everyone else there, they would have got cursed out and handled accordingly. Why is it that Ashley can sit there and be disrespectful to Candice, and Candice is the bad guy for responding? She sat up there and told Candice, oh, you have an oversized clit. And Candice said, no, that's your friend Mia over here. And then Mia's like, oh my God. No, you didn't say, oh my God, when Ashley said it. But when Candice bounced it right back on over to your side of the fence, now it's like, oh my God, why would she say that? No, the colorism on the show is blatant. Y'all allow these women to get away with whatever they want to, and Candice has to be on her best behavior. Candice has to fall in line. She can't be emotional. She can't do anything. She can't laugh, cry, make a joke, nothing. She can't express herself. It's y'all stay on this girl's neck. And then people are like, oh, it's not colorism. A lot of y'all don't like the fact that Candice is married to a white man. I've seen black people have an issue with it, and I've seen white people have an issue with it. A lot of y'all don't like it. The black people are like, her mama wouldn't have let her marry him if he was black because he's broke. And then the white folks is like, oh, he's going to leave her because she's just so terrible. She's just so vile. Y'all don't like that black woman and that white man are together. That's another problem that a lot of y'all have. I can't tell you how many Twitter accounts that sit there and bash Candice, and when you click on one or two of them, you see all the right-wing hatred right there on their Twitter page. You go to their likes and you see all the stuff that they like about other people. But y'all say it's not racism. Y'all say it's not colorism. I just really come to the understanding that a lot of you guys y'all simply don't like a dark-skinned woman that grew up with privilege. And she could marry for love and still have a nice life. That's what y'all have a problem with. And that shit goes all the way back. I can point that out basketball-wise. Evelyn Lozada, Evelyn could walk around. She could make fun of Tammy's clothes and her bangs. She could call Royce a bum. She could do all that elitist shit that she wanted to do. She could make fun of everybody. Mika's jewelry. She could talk about everyone. But don't let Jennifer bring up her childhood of privilege. That was a trigger for Evelyn every single time. Anytime Jennifer said, oh, you know, this reminds me of when my family took a trip X, Y, and Z, Evelyn would get angry. That vein on her forehead would protrude. If Jennifer mentioned, oh, you know, because this happened, or my daddy used to pick me up in a BMW every time. Whenever Jennifer would mention that she comes from privilege, Evelyn would get outside of herself every single time. The episode where she jumped up on the table to attack Jennifer, what was going on? Jennifer was letting them know, like, bitch, I come from money. Your little 2-bedroom apartment, it doesn't faze me. She jumped on that table to attack Jennifer. Because Jennifer reminded her, like, bitch, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Money is nothing new to me. Nobody had a problem with that. Nobody had a problem with all the terrible, evil, mean, malicious things that Evelyn would say. But none of y'all like Jennifer. Y'all been like that. Y'all don't like them dark-skinned girls. Y'all don't like them dark-skinned girls that come from privilege. Y'all really don't. Y'all really have an issue with that. And y'all have a crab in the barrel mentality. And the crazy part about it is y'all love Monique. Y'all love Ashley. Y'all love Mia. They're all raising children of privilege. Their children will be rich kids. A lot of you are full of shit. That's all I can say. A lot of y'all are. Because y'all sit up there like, oh, she didn't learn nothing from last year. Monique need to come back. If y'all really think that Monique got the opportunity to come back on this show, she put her hands on anyone, let alone Candice, then I know she's a fool. If she was to really do some stuff like that, then I know she's a fool. And if that's what y'all want her to do, then I know y'all don't really like her. Because a prosecutor might have thrown that case out the first time, but it won't be a second. And Candice might have allowed her to have her way with her head that first time. Because as a lot of y'all sit up here and give Monique a little too much credit. Like she was just throwing hands. Like if she trusted her hands, she would have fought Robin. Candice was holding on to her wig because she did not want you guys to be passing around a meme of her with her wig cap on. So she held on to that wig and she let Monique do whatever she wanted to. Her arms were too little. She could barely even reach Monique. She was holding on to that wig. She didn't trust her hands. That's why when her and Robin were going back and forth, she put that umbrella up real quick. Because she already knew. When she realized, when she got close to Robin, she was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm arguing with the wrong green-eyed bandit. This one is about to eat me up. She ain't had no choice but to put that umbrella up. Y'all give her too much credit. Talking about where's Monique. If y'all really love Monique, y'all would stop trying to get her into some nonsense. And y'all sound like idiots because Candice went hard for Monique. She was good to Monique. She was loyal to Monique. Monique took her anger out on the person she perceived to be the weakest link. The person who was coming for Monique, she didn't touch. See, if Monique trusted her hands, she would have fought Gigi. She would have talked to Gigi away from the show. So none of this would have ever made it on. She was so big and bad. Because she ran and hid from her. At this point, it just is what it is. We're watching Colorism and Racism on Bravo. And y'all acting like y'all don't see it. Because y'all don't like Candice. Because maybe Candice grew up with shit you never had. Hate to see it. I really hate to see it. I can't believe so many of you people are that obtuse. Or that, are you really that obtuse? Or are you just pretending because you just really don't like this girl because you can't relate to her? Because she had things you never had. Where I come from, that's called being a hater. She did nothing to you. She came on a TV show and she understood the assignment. It's trending every Sunday and Monday. This show, like, for real, this show used to be so fun to watch. Take us back to season 3 and season 4. That's when it was fun. When these hateful, crazy-ass fans weren't around. But, you know, I just hope Candice realizes that none of these girls are your friends. A scholar, I like a scholar. She seems cool. The rest of them, they not your friends. And I know, Robin, you didn't say, oh, it looks like she was asking for it. Robin, you weren't there. Giselle, you weren't there. You guys know that Ashley is biased. Ashley's never going to like Candice. Ashley sat up there and lied, and nobody clocked her on her lies. I would be mad at Candice if she went down to that reunion and defended any of those birds. You let these bitches fight their own battles because they don't know how to be loyal to you. You are loyal to them. You defend them. You go out of your way to defend them and back them up. And they play in your face every time. That's what we were seeing in that exchange between Mia and Candice. I will not sit here and lie. Candice could have definitely pulled it back some. She could have. She could have pulled it back some. But Candice, in that moment, literally, she was triggered, and she's been through this before. She's nothing but nice to these hoes, and the first chance they get to stab her in the back, they do it. How do you go to someone's mother and clown a project they're doing? Candice's music is really good. She put her entire heart and soul onto that album. This was not no tardy for the party. This was not no money can't buy you class on display. Whatever else songs that these other housewives have made. This was a real body of work. This was really her art. And you went there, and if you didn't have good vibes, then you should have just left. You should have just said, oh, girl, you know, I don't support women. I bash them. I make fun of what they're doing. I have no time for what you got going on. That's what you should have done. Instead, you went there. You were being messy. You did something to Candice that I'm pretty sure if Candice did it to you, you wouldn't appreciate. And then it's like, oh my gosh, she's so mean. Girl, get the hell up out of here with that shit. Candice, she could have held back, but I think Candice really snapped. I think Candice is tired of y'all playing with her. And if I was her, I'd feel the same way. Stop playing with me. Who they gonna pick on next? Wendy, buckle up, because you next, girl. Anyways, that's my sound off. I'm just gonna end it here because these people done wore me out.